so much. He has come all the way from online to support us. I'm going to just ask you questions, so that audience get to know you, your personal journey, also what I have done, and the vision behind it. So it's going to be conversational, just making it informal. Government is not here, that's the first last step, the structure of the national.
Happy to. Thank you, Shaja. Thank you very much. First of all, thank you all for being here. I want to give a huge shout out to Nico, the university. She disappears. So she's been the backbone for first TiE in Jersey, but for TiE Women as well. And a big thank you to Raman and Suresh for sure. And all the team here, you guys love it. Thank you for giving me the honor to be here. So I'm Dharti Desai. I'm born and raised in India. I live in different parts of the country. I moved from a town called Ahmedabad in Gujarat, which is in the west of India, to a town in the south of India called Chennai. So my first, I guess, world experience moving from one state to another, as most of you may be aware, that takes a lot. So decided to learn French at the age of 10. Fell in love with my teacher. I didn't know that it would take me so long to learn a language, but it has always been central to everything I've done. And so I do want to give a shout out to anyone who's from India and who thinks that the world is a difficult place. It's not. It's just about pushing yourself and getting out there, meeting people, opening your mind and your networks. So I did want to mention that I was born and raised in India. I came here, and then I lived in other cities in India as well, and then I've been here since 2023. Just when I was 30 years. And I did something I never thought I would do. I had an arranged marriage. And I grew up, this rebel, and I was raised by progressive parents. So I don't think they thought that's going to do it. I certainly didn't think that's going to do it. It happened. And I got here. And I learned a lot because I went through a really rough time. But I think it taught me so many things about surviving and how we humans survive. We all survive. Women, living children. But New York became my first for many things. So I used to teach French in India. I continued to teach French here. I was very lucky to get a job in Manhattan within a week of being here. It taught me to be independent. I was able to get out. I made sure I drove. I was self-reliant. And I taught French for many years. One of my students was an entrepreneur. And so my student eventually became my mentor. And I learned entrepreneurship through him. I don't know about TiE back then. So I'm an accidental everything in life. I've been an accidental French student, an accidental French teacher, and then an accidental entrepreneur. And now I'm a serial accidental entrepreneur, accidental angel investor. There's a bunch of things. But I love the fact that my life is really about me look back and connect all the dots and how it all makes sense. I'm a single parent. I have a daughter who's 25. It's now part of something that I love and do in the tech space. So full circle, I discovered TiE in 2016. I was advising the company for go-to-market. That's been my sweet spot. And she found a flyer for something like tonight. But would you go with me? I'd love to. I've never heard of TiE before. And I'm sure the people who've been a part of TiE for a long, long time, there's a way it sucks you in. And I've never looked back. I just love what it stood for. And I wish that I'd known it back when I was an entrepreneur and I struggled, but TiE is an incredible organization. And My journey of the last 7 years in TiE has been amazing. So I'd love to tell you a little more about it, but pausing here, please. You want to add something?
No, I think what would be very nice for everyone to know how TiE we understand empower to lead, right? Those are the taglines we have. And TiE does it very well, right? I'm also kind of new to TiE, but I'm already seeing that. Looking how did it help TiE help you shape as a person? How did it have an impact on your personal journey? I hear a lot of stories that one of the most beautiful thing about TiE is lifelong friendship. This is something I've heard from many people. Tell us a little bit about that.
Maybe I can swear by that because I think a few of my really close friends are in the audience. Hands up, guys, if you know me. These are all TiE folks. all friends. And so the network is really very, very special. It was started by, of course, amazing people, and I don't know if they had imagined that it would be so big, and would be in so many countries and so many chapters. But professionally, of course, it's a support system. For me, what I really loved about TiE, and I think for me the timing was great because I was in a new mode. Before we had started it just in India, that basically continues women from underserved neighborhoods. And so I was in that sweet spot, giving back. But I was also struggling with one of my companies. I won't go into details, but when I met folks in TiE, and these are guys who have been talking for years, they said, "Hey, this is business. It happens. How can we help you?" And I'll never forget that. Like it was such a pivotal moment for me, for someone who was probably 100 times more successful than I was, to say, "Hey, how can we help you?" And they actually helped me. So I thought I was surrounded by amazing energy. They were uplifting, and it was a lot of men at the time, to be honest. But it was just the attitude of staying forward and giving back. And that's really the important that guys built on. And I haven't looked back since. So for me, I think in a way it was my third, awakening. I've had a few. But TiE has played a very, very big role in my life, personally and professionally.
Our special interest group in New Jersey chapter is very new. This is our first pitch competition, so there may be some flaws, but we are learning more, if I may say. Tell us a little bit, what is the vision behind having special interest group for women entrepreneurs, and what's the vision behind this pitch competition? We don't do it for all, right? They're at TiE University, but then what is this vision? What's the vision?
So when I joined TiE, one of the other great moments for me was when I was invited to be on a road show to mentor women entrepreneurs in India. There was a program that TiE had launched with the US State Department called AirScreen, which is the All India Roadshow for Women's Economic Empowerment through Entrepreneurship. I got to visit 2 cities in India, Patna and Kochi. 2 cities I've never been to, and I've lived in so many parts of India. And I think for me that was another big moment because we realized, in diversity, there are so many opportunities, the challenges, but the idea behind TiE Women was really just to bring all these women from all over the globe together. And what better platform than TiE to make that happen? Because there are 50 chapters in 12 countries. But this year, Shailaja, for the TiE Women program, this is our 4th year. We have 62 countries represented in the TiE Women programs. We started with the first year, we said, oh, we didn't have 10 chapters for the we did, we ended up having 20 plus in the first year itself. We had about 25 odd countries. And the number has just grown. And in the beginning, it was not easy because a lot of us, and I used to believe that as well, but we don't really need a separate program. We close the mystery about the best person, right? But there is a need. Platforms are very, very important. At the end of the day, it's all going to be about, your enterprise, your journey, what you believe in, your commitment, your team, pretty much the same stuff. But if there is a platform that encourages mentorship and that allows you to really air your problems, meet each other, and I think the collaboration that has come out of TiE Women is absolutely unprecedented. I haven't seen anything like that. It's been amazing.
Yeah, I can vouch for that. We are on this WhatsApp group where the global high pitch is happening from every country, every city. Like think about every city in India, right? And we keep on getting these updates, which is amazing. It's so inspiring. I just keep on reading about those entrepreneurs, and I'm like, there are so many of them. I'll be very honest. When we have maybe need to frame out, we were very nervous whether we even get enough, but here we are. And we are so proud to have our sixth, finals which in July. And in the closing, what would be your one piece of advice or few pieces of advice for women entrepreneurs?
I'm a perpetual learner. I'm still learning. I'm learning from my latest enterprise. I would say two things: just keep learning and bring your authentic self wherever you go. I think authenticity speaks for itself. You don't need to sell yourself. So wishing all of you amazing luck, and I hope to see the winner in Singapore. But remember, like Dorothy said, it's not just about the winning of the prize money. It's the people you're going to meet, the interactions you're going to have, the network you're going to build. And wish all of you all the best for today and then for your road ahead. Look forward to your pictures. Thank you. Thank you, John.
Thank you, Shailaja, and thank you so much, Bharti. What a pleasure to have you here. Thank you so much. And also, I think there's a very exciting addition that we have in this pitch competition. And we are delighted to have Sarabjit Singh here. He is the founder of TiE VC. It creates engagement for not only the fund, as well as engage the audiences and get them totally involved in the game. So you can't leave this room for the next hour and a half. Because
yeah. Thank you, Neeta, and thank you, the TiE University, for making this addition to this event. So the pre-app has been developed specifically for events such as to make them more engaging, more exciting, and more importantly, there's so much experience, expertise sitting here in this particular group right now, and to use the app to unlock that value for the startups here. So for this event today, we are going to have one winner, of course, from one representing New Jersey. But all of the other ones, all six of them are going to walk away from this room with connections that they've made via the app from you in the attendance, CG audience. So this is the way forward. So if your money, which is at stake, so this is the way it's going to work out. So there must be an flyer that must have been passed out. There's a QR code behind it. So use a QR code, download the app, create the account. Once you log into the account, your app, you're going to play the role of investor for this particular. You have the 6 startups here. There are the 6 startups. The rest of you are the investors. You all will receive, each one of you receives 10,000 free money. The free money is a digital fictional currency that's has value within the free ecosystem. It's not a legal tender. So you will now invest that 10,000 free money when you listen to the stocks pitching. And you can keep making changes to your investments throughout till the very end. More importantly, use the app also to give feedback to the startups. And as an early stage startup founder myself, for us at this stage, feedback is gold. That's what we are looking for as we are struggling on our journey to find the product market fit. And most importantly, what the app will allow us, the startups to do is build a champion, build a community of champions, fans around their startup that they can develop after the event. So it's not just the startups who are going to be competing. You are also going to be competing to be the smartest investor of the venture. So you are going to be running based on how you invest versus how the others have invested and so on. And of course, there's a band which rewards you for being slightly aggressive on the startups that have done better, rewards you for being conservative on those which have not been able to raise that much free money from the audience. So all of that stuff of algorithm takes care of. But importantly, invest, does 10,000 free money, in the startups, you're going to get ranked at the end of it. Lisa, when she ends the event, she'll be displaying the leaderboard. Top 3 investors, the pre-investors of this event, will be displayed on the leaderboard. And I understand there are some prizes for the top 3 investors also. That in short is how it works. And then here, in case if you have any questions, but once you've downloaded the app and you have entered the event code, it should be a pretty straightforward process. Yeah. 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 So once now, if you have been, if you have already downloaded the app and if you have entered the code 309, you might have received a message saying, "Oh, the event is not been activated now." Yeah, which is activated now. So now, when you enter the code 309, it should be the event, and then you should be seeing the 10,000 free money in your account. Also, the app will allow you to message. Send direct messages to the startups. Please do that. Just say hi, hello, whatever direct feedback you want to give them. And founders, we don't have to reply to them right away. You can just use the app, and even after the event is over, you can reply to them at your own convenience and just continue the conversation that you're going to be starting today.
Yes.
Intermediate guest. So the
Wi-Fi, if you're not able to get online, is NJ Yes. And it's pretty yeah. The Wi-Fi is NJ Yes. And it's free Wi-Fi. You just need to, it goes to the browser. And,
So we'll give everyone like 2 minutes to download the app. And we are ready to start. Devidita Kandari, she will be our MC for this evening for the pitch competition. And here she is.
thank you, Neetu. I think we are a little bit out of order here because we are, our keynote speaker is not here, correct? Neetu? Okay, so maybe we can just start off. I can tell you a little bit about our TiE women's journey, and where we started, where we are today, our vision for the future. So let me take you through some of that, and maybe wait for. All right, so yes, this sort of just shows our journey. We launched the TiE Women New Jersey chapter, this TiE Women's Special Interest Group in December of 2022. And here we are today, like 9 months later. So it's kind of, we've delivered the baby, but it's not the end. It's still the beginning. Yes. So, since our launch, it's really the vision, like Darthi mentioned, Shaila mentioned, was to create this platform for women entrepreneurs to give them that opportunity for, community mentoring, and really, giving them that platform to meet investors and grow their businesses. So that was kind of the vision. It started with a little, a little seed in our head. And we had some, quarterly meets with curated topics. Priya Karthik here, she conducted some sessions on perfecting your pitch or, crafting a compelling pitch. But really the pitch competition, which is what we're all kind of here today for, that sort of forced us to get our act together and, really, it accelerated the creation of our special interest group and what we stand for. So we launched the pitch competition in July. We are all working on a very accelerated timeline. In July, August, we had a packed schedule with mentoring sessions. We created. Suresh came with a new idea called the Mentor Walk, wherein we walk with the mentors, you have coffee chats, you have lunches, but here you have the mentor walks, right? A healthy way to get, spend time with mentors. So we had that. We had a lot of these, our founders were part of it. Obviously, they are our first cohort, and we were able to provide those. We would have liked to provide more, but given the time, this was, all that we could pack into the July-August timeframe. So kind of going through that, that's literally the mentor walk. And we had, it sort of culminated in this semifinals with 14 participating startups. We were thrilled to have 14, when we started, we were like, we don't know how many we're going to get, New Jersey, and just so much like, marketing, you're getting the word out about that. So we had 14 startups. And then, here we are today with our 6 finalists. Excited, really excited to hear. I mean, they are amazing, guys. I mean, these are highly technical, concepts. You'll kind of see that they're very, pitches are excellent. We were amazed by the quality of it. So I'm excited to hear you all. But yes, this is just the beginning. So join us on this journey. You see a lot of women here. Some that, and thank you for everyone who came. Join us on this journey to make this bigger and better. Join TiE Women. We'll, really the goal is to make this have a lot more mentoring sessions, content, all of that of our female entrepreneurs. So that's where we are, and I want to thank all the people. So this is a little bit in pictures. We had mentoring sessions with Suresh Kumar, Raghu Rao, he's here. He's a serial entrepreneur and investor. Raghu, he probably stepped out. And Shailja herself, she's CEO of QU Digital Therapeutics. This was our mentor walk with Raghu Rao, Ashok Krish, and Jesse Danjal. And we had the pitch competition semifinals with the 14 and 3 very eminent judges, Pooja Majmudar from SPB5, Nadia Tian from another investing firm, and Vijar Kohli, who's here today. Thank you, Vijar. So, as you can see, it takes a village. We have really built this ecosystem, this community, brought them all together, and we want to thank everyone who has been part of this journey. None of this would be possible without our sponsors, right? That we have here. I think specifically, we had some new sponsors from Sava and Marsh, right? Shailja, if you want to add any additional words, acknowledge anyone there? Yes. Thank you. Thanks for your support. Yeah. I also want to give a shout out to Ula Catering. Yes, Smita. So, yes.
So you process, and for those of us out here in the audience, push entrepreneurs toward you.
Absolutely.
Do they have to be Indian or can they be women?
Wow, you see them here. They're women. They're not Indian. Sorry, don't be too loud.
They have to be in New Jersey or
New Jersey.
Yeah.
It's from New Jersey. So New Jersey female entrepreneurs.
So I would correct. So TiE, the Indian entrepreneurs, they operate out of around the world in different chapters. So we have a chapter here in New York has a chapter where Connecticut is in. So if you have an entrepreneur in any of the satellite other states, they could definitely apply to TiE New Jersey, and we would look forward to mentoring.
Yeah. Thank you. So thank you for clarifying. I'm sure everyone has the same question. We are, we support all female New Jersey female entrepreneurs. So, Smita, yes, hi, Mia. Smita, thank you for your, for bringing this all together and bringing the food and, taking care of everything, start to finish. It's a very special menu, guys. I mean, this is not the standard Panera or whatever Kiroba menu. It's a very special menu curated, and she's a local female woman-owned business that we wanted to especially, bring in and support her as part of our mission, right? Part of our team here. So thank you. We have several volunteers as well. We'll call them at the end and thank them, but it is a big operation, so thank you for everyone who supported us. Right? So before we go into the start the pitch competition and all of that, we have Neha Shah, who is our keynote speaker for today. So Neha, I'd like to invite you.
Thank you very much. I like that picture. Well, nice to see everyone here. And I was driven here by a wonderful entrepreneurial friend who was inspiring me with all of her business stories. So it's lovely to be in this room. Thank you, Neetu. Thank you, and expressions here for the invitation to speak. And I'll keep it brief. But in my business, in the last 25 years of being an entrepreneur, oftentimes I enter a room where I might be the only woman of color. The age range can be very vast and diverse, but often we're kind of charting our own path. And so when I see this group of rock star women, and of course I went through the profiles of the pitch competition, it really gives me tremendous inspiration to see so many women doing amazing things. But I'm here 30 minutes late, and today I went to two totally different back to school. Actually, I see one of my friends whose daughter is in the same school, and I had 16 calls, and I was reading about this competition, and I was thinking and speaking with this friend in the drive over, we have tremendous responsibilities as women, whether we're mothers or choose not to be mothers, but we're taking on such a significant load of really the whole world, of society as a whole. But it's really important for us to have that opportunity to kind of get in touch with ourselves and what is our purpose. And certainly my kids, my husband, my parents who are just at my house, they're a very big part of who I am and what I do. But I think we have to really kind of just do what matters and find our own purpose. And although we are the center of everything that we often do, in my company, I feel like in many respects, I'm the center of the conscience of what we've been doing for the last 25 years. It is a tremendous load. I don't know what each day brings, and that's what entrepreneurship is about. Entrepreneurship is about new day, new challenge, every single minute, every single opportunity, getting up when we're falling down, and having so much grit and perseverance to make it, and still have and do everything like the world kind of expects of us. So I'm very, very honored, proud to be here to speak to all of you, to see the tremendous efforts of these competitors here, the judges that are here, some of the great entrepreneurs that I see in the audience. One of those entrepreneurs is a family friend of mine who I've known since birth. And I remember when I was just starting my career, my dad showed me a newspaper article of her. Her name is Preeti Pandya Patel. And she started her business at a very young age. And I had just started my company and journey at the age of 22, not knowing what it meant to be an entrepreneur. All I knew is that we had to do some real work. We had to survive in very, very difficult times when the money wasn't there, and I had to renegotiate the water cooler. And we had to go to ShopRite instead of getting catered lunches. And we had to do all of these things just to make it in those really early days when nothing was working. Nothing was working for us. We were working 80, 90 hours a week with very, very limited resources and finding interns from Rutgers and the local universities. But somehow we made it. And I think, again, that spirit of grit, we're going to survive and eventually we're going to thrive, kept us going. And once we got through that survival mode and then growth mode, it became about a larger focus of how do we serve each other, how do we serve our customers, how do we serve society in a bigger way. We're very fortunate now to have a platform of nearly 7,000 people, 26 offices around the world, serving some of the largest companies in the world. But I still find that the roots of just rolling up our sleeves and doing real work for our employees, for our customers, and like I said, for the communities in which we have to work is what keeps me going. I'm doing it in a very fun, very chaotic way where I'm often late for things and running around, but still feeling that sense of joy and that sense of purpose. So I'm very honored to be here. As I said, I'm very, very excited to hear these amazing pitches from these amazing women. And I wish you all great luck and great success. And anybody who's thinking about entrepreneurship, TiE is the place to find that spark and find that bright advice in this amazing set and amazing community who can either help you with the spark itself, or once you've gotten that spark, taking it to wherever you want to go with unlimited potential and unlimited opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Neha. It was indeed a pleasure to have you, and your story is inspiring to so many of us. So for those of you who don't know Neha, I have to write it down because her accolades are so many, I couldn't remember it. So please excuse me when I'm reading out of this. So she is the president and co-founder of GEP. And she's been a pivotal force in developing GEP from its beginnings into a globally recognized leader in digital supply chain and procurement transformation. A constant source of innovation and inspiration, as you all heard Neha, she's the key driver of GEP's TiE and social initiative strategies. Under her guidance, the company prioritizes talent, emphasizing engagement, and connecting employees to a higher purpose. Throughout her career, Neha has been recognized for her leadership and dedication. Among her recent recognitions, Neha received the Supply and Demand Chain Executive Women in Supply Chain Award, the ISM Women in Leadership Diamond Award, the TiE Entrepreneur of the Year Award, and in 2022, Neha was named a winner of the prestigious Henry Crown Fellowships with the Aspen Global Leadership Network at the Aspen Institute. This is a huge accolade. One thing on in 2023, Neha's innovative support, and dynamic leadership were further recognized as she was named Ernst & Young's Entrepreneur of the Year for New Jersey. So this award celebrates visionaries who are leading successful and ambitious businesses. So we definitely have a lot to learn from her journey and her path forward. Neha's work as a liaison between nonprofit organizations, the public sector, and the corporations is a testament to her dedication to human rights. She's currently the vice chair of Pratham USA, acting as an ambassador for Pratham's work across India and its expansion into Africa and Latin America. She's also on the advisory board of SAKI for South Asian Women, and she advises the Kailash Satyarthi Children's Foundation, supporting its efforts to eliminate child labor in supply chain worldwide. She's also an active member of the Young Presidents Organization. She is an art and music enthusiast and serves as a board member of McCarter Theater in New Jersey. She resides right here in Princeton, New Jersey, with her husband, Dr. Shah, and their 3 children. I don't know how you do all this, Neha, but thank you so much for being here today.
There's one addition to the resume there. is that Neha accepted our invitation to be on the advisory board for TiE New Jersey this year. So thank you again for that.
All right, I think we are good time. I want to take some time, obviously, to introduce our very esteemed judges. They are here from, very they've traveled far. Let me say from even from different countries. Lata has flown here from Sweden. Lata. So I will let them introduce themselves, and share a few words for all of us today. So Lata, I'll just pass the mic to you.
Hi, my name is Lata Seni. I'm very honored to be here. And, going on the theme of journey, the state of time journey that Liv, Karina, and Tara talked about, I started life as a medical student. Subsequently, the way I was raised in the Midwest and away from really either on the coast with a lot of Indian influence. The one thing that I did have was that, you have to become a doctor, marry a doctor, and have three brown babies that become doctors, right? And I left medical school, did my graduate work in reproductive endocrinology. And then, since I did not want to be a lab scientist, decided to go to law school against my parents' wishes and became a patent attorney. And as I think as many know, to be a patent attorney in America, you have to have a technical or math or science or engineering background. Practiced in New York at one of the oldest patent law firm in the world for about 10 years. And then when I got married and had my son, I never hardly saw him except on Saturdays. Because I had no control. Can you hear me? Okay. So it turned out to be the timing was perfect, and I helped to start two different companies in the digital transformation space, mostly in the legal industry. And those companies got funded out in Silicon Valley, like Sequoia Capital, Goldman Sachs, et cetera, et cetera. But what I realized is the difference between how I was treated as a South Asian woman who wore bright lipstick and, talked a lot versus my male Caucasian, tall 6-foot co-founders. And though we were funded by traditional venture firms, when those companies got acquired, I really wanted to do something that addressed inequality and the 2% that goes to female founders. So when my last company got acquired, I helped to start a small venture fund that invests in female founders in the U.S., technology science driven. But what we did that was really fairly unique was raised our funds without any institutional capital. I think we were the first fund to do that, and last month we were able to launch our newest initiative, which is to mobilize 10,000 women in the U.S. who have never invested in venture to be first-time investors, because as you know, a lot of high net worth individuals put money into the stock market and real estate, 401k, but we're trying to really create a movement, whether they invest in our fund or somebody else's fund, but to really address as minor dollar amounts that go to female founders. So with that, very excited to be here and to hear from our 6 amazing founders. And the last thing I wanted to share, building a company, many of us are mothers, many of us have many responsibilities, as we know. It's the person you become in the journey of becoming an entrepreneur. You do things you never thought you could, and then you get up in the next morning and do it again. And so I really applaud all 6 of you and can't wait to hear more. Thank you.
Hey everyone, I'm Hudita Howe.
now VP of Innovation and Entrepreneurship at NJ, which is the industry trade association for life sciences in New Jersey. I have spent my entire career working in or with startups and entrepreneurs as well. And starting with a startup venture, which was a tech startup in California, which was acquired by a publicly traded company. I actually studied nutritional science and biochemistry, realized I didn't want to work in a lab, and went to business school for marketing. Thought I would work in life science, but ended up in tech, and that sort of determined my career after that. When I moved to New Jersey, I didn't really know the ecosystem at all, and I learned first thing that you really need to get out and network. So I spent a lot of time networking, getting to know entrepreneurs, but also the supporters of entrepreneurs, all the organizations, and there are many people right here who I met early on. I worked with a number of companies across different industries, and I worked with them in marketing, strategy, products, business planning, pitching to investors. And that was all areas that I had worked in the past in startups myself. And prior to coming to NJ, I spent 6 years at Rutgers working with academic entrepreneurs as well as alumni who are entrepreneurial, growing their companies across multiple industries and geographies. We did have startups in India from students who had gone to Rutgers and graduated and gone back to India and started their own companies and done very well. And so the idea was to bring visibility to their companies, to connect them to the universities, also to connect them to other valuable resources in the ecosystem. So at NJ, my role is to help build that entrepreneurial ecosystem. We work with life science companies, therapeutics, diagnostics, medical devices. Digital health is obviously a big new area, and AI. And so we're working to support those companies. We've developed some new initiatives, and we have a large event during the year, which is in the spring, the NJ Bio Partnering Conference, which we work with JP Morgan, Johnson & Johnson, and Morgan Lewis to develop that. This year, we came back in person after 3 years and had 600 people in attendance, 70 companies pitching, and a few of them are right here. So I'm happy to see you here as well. And so it's an opportunity to connect the entrepreneurs to investors and industry partners and other people in the ecosystem who can support them on their journey. We're also coming up with a few new initiatives. There's going to be a new monthly entrepreneurs exchange, which is a monthly meeting of founders and C-level executives from entrepreneurial companies, so that they can meet and connect with each other, share challenges, share resources that they found, and also hear from experts or people who can help them in their journey. So the first meeting will be on September 19th, and I invite anybody who's interested as an entrepreneur to join. And then we're also developing a new AI and digital health day, which is going to be on November 1st in Morristown, and there'll be more information coming out about that. So I'm happy to share that. I'm very happy to be part of the TiE New Jersey community. For a long time, I've been a big proponent of having TiE women, boosted and supported and brought to be highlighted. And so this is really exciting. And I will also mention that while I was at Rutgers, I was fortunate to be included in Governor Murphy's business mission to India, where I got to visit TiE in Hyderabad as well, and see an event that we had there. We visited a number of different cities and connected with business leaders and academic leaders there, and that was really an exciting experience too. So coming here to TiE and seeing the women pitching is a great honor, and I'm really excited to see all of you, and very proud to see so many women entrepreneurs in this community do so well. So thank you.
My name is Jim Bird, and I've been a big supporter of entrepreneurs for the past 25 years. And, part of this ecosystem, which I'm proud to call, New Jersey. But when I was listening to Dorothy, incidental entrepreneurship and the resilience and the persistence. I mean, every story, I've heard thousands of stories. Every story is different, and there's accidents involved, and that's really special. And then when I heard Neha, amazing entrepreneur, talk about conscience, right? That makes things so much more rich, right? In our ecosystem. And that's one of the great aspects that women bring to this ecosystem. And I'm going to hear from Lita to talk about the organizations, the catalysts of ecosystems, which runs through several stakeholders, right, in the ecosystem, not only entrepreneurs and investors, but nonprofit organizations and government investors, and others. The catalysts, these organizations are so critically important. So I applaud TiE. I'm really happy to be here and be part of it, and much success to these entrepreneurs from today and going forward.
Thank you.
Okay, so we will, here's introducing our 6 finalists. They're all here. I see Nikita at the back. So, we will, hopefully all of you have the game, right? Who was kind of, does anyone have any questions, anything? Have you all done the game to put in your audience, investments and all of that? Hopefully you have the game. Judges, do you have your scorecard, everything all set? Great. So let's just start off. If there's nothing else, Priya is going to keep the time here. So Priya, you want to give a really quick thing on how this timing works? I'm the winner of the room. Yes. I volunteer for the I think you're pretty much aware that we're going to do 8+3, right? 8 minutes. So you're going to have the president, you're going to have a 5-minute card. So mentally be prepared that you have 3 minutes more. And then after that, you have a 7-minute warning, which means 7 minutes are up. So you just have 1 minute to wrap up. And then after that, you have 8 minutes. You will have 8 minutes, which says that your time is up. So we want you to wrap it up by the time it's shown. So by this, you just have 2 to 3 seconds more. And we want to wrap it up right there. Okay. I can suggest negative points to people who have gone. I'm very strict, but it's okay. Time agency is very lenient. Don't worry about it. They're the most understanding community. So this is 8 minutes. And after that, your Q&A starts, which is going to be for 3 minutes. And you're going to have a 1 minute more mark for that 3 minutes. So if at all you want to answer, you probably want to take the precision route rather than the elaboration route. So yeah. And after that, the judges get 2 minutes to finish the scores.
Awesome.
So with that, sorry guys, I'm kind of, there's so many things going on here. Okay, so calling Sloan Tilly from the IM. Take it away.
Sorry, 1 second. Let's try that. Yeah. I don't know why the taskbar thing shows up. It's supposed to be full screen. Put it on full screen. No, that will close it. That will close it. No, it's part of the setting. I don't know the setting. It's part of the
You can try that full screen on the remote. No, that's okay. I mean, ignore the bottom bar.
has nothing to do with it.
Okay. Let me take this off. I'm the CEO and co-founder of TiE.
The origin story is continues a theme that all of these various news ladies set me up perfectly for. My journey into starting the company began with an accident. I was a thriving PhD student who was discovering my love and talent for the sport triathlon at the University of North Carolina. Unfortunately, my accident looked like getting hit by a car and I trained for my first half Ironman and being bailed out of the hospital on my 23rd birthday with a broken back, a broken leg, and a diagnosis of PTSD. And I struggled to come back from these injuries in both my athletic and academic pursuits because I didn't have a good objective measure of how my body was responding to the stress of my injuries. And unfortunately, my experience is not a rare. At the highest level of athletics, we see recognition that athletes are not being able to properly measure the total cognitive and physical strain that their bodies are going under. And it's costing them wins, quality of life, and ultimately financial gain. This is why we invented the TiE solution. We make a wearable device that can measure biomarkers remotely through sweat. We can then access the data in real time through our smartphone app. So far, we've measured cortisol, which is known as the stress hormone, lactate, and ions for hydration. So, who do we envision using this device? Well, so far, we've actually already had some early contracts with the US military. Like elite athletes, these individuals depend on both their physical and mental gain being the sharpest at all times. It's a very large market with a dual use among the elite athletes and pro sports community. As we're getting some early revenue generating contracts on these initial markets, we're also preparing to enter the healthcare market because the way that our technology works allows us to measure several different biomarkers at once through sweat. So for value-based chronic disease, you can also imagine, similar to a continuous glucose monitor, other biomarkers being of great interest for other chronic conditions. But just focusing on that initial market size of the Department of Defense, over 50% of active US military have sort of season-ending injury throughout each year. So that's around $50 billion. Cross-referencing that with those that are already using wearable devices, we get a serviceable table market of about $500 million. So how does this technology work? Well, I'm not going to go too in depth, but just to give you a brief overview, our technology stack consists of 3 layers. The first is a hydrogel. This wicks sweat from the skin, even when our user is not actively sweating. I hope that most of you got deodorant this morning, which means that we're all sweat even whenever we're not actively perspiring. The hydrogel wicks that sweat away to allow us to get in constant reading. It goes into our specimen. Imagine that you have a puzzle piece that you mold a clay around. Then we use a solvent to wash that puzzle piece away. We're basically creating an artificial antibody with this specific puzzle piece hole that only our molecule interest, say cortisol, fits into. How we get down to the limits of detection, because these molecules are in low concentrations in sweat, is through our special 2D nanostructure ink. We have a working relationship with one of the only makers of this ink out of Purdue University right now, which allows us to get sensitive and specific readings. Just looking at the early data, this is actually me on my bike. We're able to detect a significant drop in my cortisol levels within 2 minutes whenever we turn on a fan, whenever I'm holding constant thoughts. Here you're seeing stabilization at the electrode, just showing that we actually do receive real-time data within 90 seconds. We've also actually already moved on to measure both lactate and uric acid through sweat as well, and that's within 1 micromolar sensitivity to sweat. And so obviously there are a lot of health wearables out there. I myself am wearing the Garmin right now. But whenever we talk about stress, and specifically talking about looking and measuring recovery or cognitive performance, there's really no other solution that is able to accurately represent somebody's cognitive state in real time. And while this may look a little bit unreal, I like to use this picture. Well, most of you probably don't know who this is. I'm a big cycling nerd, and this is the current cycling road national championship, Matthew Vanderpool. The team is sponsored by as we see on this wrist. He doesn't trust Luke to measure his heartbeat in real time, meaning that, which is why I'm throwing that heart rate strip right there. Meaning that the algorithms that Luke uses, which are based on the milliseconds in between your heartbeats, I would say that they're a little bit less than that. We don't use heart rate variability. We are actually going after a clinical biomarker on the sweat, which no one else is able to do. So we have had some good traction so far because this policy round led by Hacks SOSV, right, in Europe in January. We filed 2 patents, 1 provisional, 1 non-provisional. We're working on a 3rd for August. And we've just completed our phase 1 with the US Army and have actually just received some news that we're moving on for a $1.9 million contract, also with the Army, working with US Special Forces and also Fort Tripler out in Honolulu, Hawaii. The TiE team is made up of 3 individuals, all with advanced degrees and actually all with prior experience with entrepreneurship ventures. So I myself have a systems biology background, and I've worked with technology startups my whole career. And then my CSO Julio, he has a PhD in nanoscience and builds our electrodes. And Fernando has a master's degree in electronics engineering and handles building our actual platform and handling the data. We're also advised by a group of advisors across academia, industry, and military. So our financials for the next 5 years are shown here. Obviously, they'll like hockey stick because this is not a competition, so you're going to get 5 more of these. So I will be in colors, but these are mine. As you can see, we're planning on opening our seed round probably in 2024, which will be 2.5 million, which we will match with another $3 million of grants. We have about 2 million that I already have, and we're anticipating another 1.5. From there, we anticipate being able to reach profitability sometime in 2026. And we have a pretty good cost per unit customer lifetime value at scale. And so with that, I just really thank you for your time and for having me here tonight. It's always really fun to get to talk about what we love doing in front of a room. And just as you can see, what we're planning to do with that round is really expand our team, keep on generating some in vivo data from those federal contracts, and hopefully actually move on to some revenue generating contracts as well with our rebel military. So thank you so much. What kind of technology or biomarker indicates how we can detect? Okay. So we don't go after biomarkers specifically, we go after the stack that we use to measure them. So far we filed on like this entire stack together, and then how we're building out the IP portfolio is actually going through and building out a composition of each one of these as well. So we specifically protect the hydrogen composition that we use, and then the molecularly imprinted polymer. I'm actually doing 2 on that, the composition and the process to make it. Similarly with the Mexican. Oh, sorry. So that's just showing, that's our basic like gold-plated electrode. So just how you would, this is showing the next synthesis process. So you already have a screen finished electrode, which is common ink. It could be gold, it could be titanium, it could be graphene. So then this just shows how you polymerize on top.
There's no other competition besides the ones you've listed as indirectly.
So there are other sweat wearables that can do hydration. So that's mixed biosensors, there's a Gatorade patch. There are a few other non-invasive sensor companies who would call themselves non-invasive, but primarily they're still using microneedles to get interstitial fluid. And so the reason why we really like to stay with sweat versus interstitial fluid is that microneedles, even though they are minimally invasive, they are non-invasive. So especially when we're talking about a military market, you can't transfer them between operators and you're increasing infection risk and an operational impact. So microneedles are pretty much a no-go for the military, and it's a pretty heavily protected field around that spot with their microneedle patents.
What about me? Are they just available with companies that provide?
Yeah, so I mean, Calm would be a very obvious one. So some of these meditation apps, we've also been with specifically an app that already partners with the military called Fuel. So they already recommend sort of overall fitness, dietary changes, and we're actually also getting involved with some health focused apps, so like for measuring testosterone, being able to get hormone replacement therapy as well. We very much, we're not, that's a partnership. We very much are trying to stay in the monitoring field because that would just be sort of too much for us to try to keep along so soon, especially when we're getting into, HIPAA compliance and FDA. So we look for partnerships with that, and we've been able to find some.
Can you go to the heart rate variability?
Can I, excuse me? Yeah, I just wanted, sorry, just 1 minute. You all have app, right? And the audience can actually give feedback on the app and ask questions on the app, please. So that we can have the time for judges to ask questions. So please do that. And there are cash prizes actually at the end for the audience for the smartest investor. So please use that to give feedback. And it's anonymous, so you can give as much feedback. Thank you. Please.
So 2 questions. First, do you know which of these applications that you're recommending this for would be most likely to adopt this and both accessible for you as far as getting to the market? And the second one is just how does that data get transmitted? Who does it get transmitted to? How does it get communicated?
Yes. So question 1, special forces, so it's our entry point. So we already have an identified end user in North Carolina. So it's with their physiotherapists and sort of accelerated return to duty is what it's called, because these soldiers are every year they're out of duty. It's $2 million cost to the U.S. government. So being able to actively measure them as they're going through training and accelerated return to duty programs for special operation forces. The second question is that it's Bluetooth, so it's sent directly to an Android phone, which comes standard issue with every operator's kit, and we're working to develop an Apple version for the commercial base. And it could be shared directly with the operator, or because it's military, we should also start holding the data and start actually the process as well, or he sent to their sort of physical therapists, cognitive behavioral therapists.
Thank you, Sloan. We have some colleagues. And while Nikita from Simba is getting ready, let's have the judges for the scoring and to that.
And again, participants, we want to have your feedback. Please give feedback on the app as much as you want. It's really very valuable for you to give feedback. So, you want something? Yes. That would be great. You have it? Do you have it? Yeah. Yeah, that would be good. I'm good. Yeah, they're putting it in another side.
For the judges.
Yeah. Wait, somebody get older for that. I'll pass it on when it's better. That's honestly going to. I mean, if you want to try to. Yeah. Just have to hold it exactly. All right. Yeah.
Just give me a thumbs up when this recording is done. Yeah, definitely. Monica? You're done? All right. All right, we're going to start off our next pitch from Nikita, representing Simba.
Okay. Hi everyone, I'm Nikita Gupta, co-founder and CTO of Simba. Simba, not for the Lion King, but for symbiotic relationships. We are here to help companies engage, convert, and retain their early talent in a much smarter way. My journey started actually with interning with the likes of Martha Stewart, companies at Apple, Bank of America, and even a handful of startups. Internships for me actually helped me define what I wanted out of my career, and I was one of the lucky ones to get one to help me propel in my professional growth. So what exactly is the problem that we're looking at here? We are seeing that demand for talent is increasing, but the supply is decreasing. And it starts at the root cause with early talent programs. If companies can't have strong early talent programs, they're at risk for having a strong full-time talent pipeline. 85 million jobs could go unfulfilled by 2030, and this is going to cause an $8.5 trillion labor impact across all industries. The solution that we have is to help companies supply and grow and scale their early talent programs. We've provided them with a solution to help them manage everything from start to finish for different programs such as internships, apprenticeships, co-ops, and rotational programs, and more. Why? Because we're seeing that there is a tremendous amount of cost savings when you're hiring from your early talent, you're increasing your diversity, and also there's higher retention rate when they convert to full-time. And this is why we built Simba. We're the solution to help companies onboard, manage, train, and engage their program participants. Just to be very clear, we don't do recruiting or outsourcing. We come into play as soon as the individual has been offered their internship or apprenticeship offer, and we take care of everything from pre-onboarding all the way to project management, engagement, community building, and even post-program engagement as alumni as well. So really the one-stop shop and go-to solution for when you're hosting these programs, such as apprenticeships, internships, and more. We created multiple features to help companies automate a lot of the processes that were very manual. And we have saved them at least up to 99% of the time, and just removing a lot of inefficiencies and automating a lot of processes. Our customers have been able to save a lot of hours a week. They're using our dashboards, which is leveraging AI and predictive modeling to understand who's at risk, so you can prevent different types of renags or less conversion rates, to understand how users are doing and to be able to just scale efficiently. Our product is highly sticky and really engaging, as we can see with multiple daily logins and increased usage over time. Our product always keeps the end user in mind. So some of the exciting features that we have in the roadmap over the next couple of months is we're launching some automated journeys in the coming months. We're also enhancing our AI and predictive modeling. We are building out more features for alumni, and we're also going global with more countries, and that way we can expand with different languages and different types of security measures as well, and support programs all over. We are an early mover in this space, and actually the only WeBank certified company in the early talent management space. Our platform offers a lot of holistic and robust features to help companies manage everything and also provide them with a great UI and UX. Our business model is quite straightforward. Our contracts grow as the number of users grow. We support everywhere from mid-market companies all the way to large enterprise and Fortune 50 organizations as well. In the market in just America, with the internships itself, is $3 billion. Every year, 4.1 million students go for internships, and with an average of 2 to 3 users per intern, taking into account their managers, their mentors, and their peers as we charge per user, we see a $3 billion market in the US, and it's going to scale exponentially with global too. Our plan is to power the early talent revolution, win share in the market, grow the market, and change the market. Here is an example, a case study of one of our large biotech customers, Roche. We saw a 12x growth in their accounts over the last couple of years, and they actually used Simba to replace 2 of their full-time employees to do the work to take to manage their internship program and their thousands globally. We are on a mission to open up the workforce. We've been named a leader in the remote work revolution and also an innovator in the HR tech space by Forbes. We're GDPR compliant, SOC 2 certified, and also WeBank as well. We are a lean team of sales, engineering, and marketing leaders, all with the same mission to open up the workforce. I have my co-founder, Alva, and then brilliant leaders in marketing, sales, and engineering coming from all different backgrounds, all different types of skill sets and experiences. We're also backed by leaders shaping the future of work, including LinkedIn's first CHRO, all the way to folks in talent management, and UR, as well as in product. Here are some of the goals that we have to reach our next milestone, so we can open up our round in Q1 of 2024. We are here to reimagine early talent programs and invite you to join the journey with us. Thank you.
Great job, thank you, Kat. That was a really good presentation. Would you be able to share one of the companies that are using your solution?
Yeah, so the solution is industry agnostic. So pretty much any company that has early talent programs, usually done on the computer. Some of our customers include Roche and Genentech. We just actually brought on CVS Pharmacy. We have fintech companies like Robinhood, Bitco, retail like TiE, and even Target, and we even work with the U.S. Department of State as well and the defense programs.
Very impressive.
Well, you should mention those. When did you start though? When did the company start?
We pretty much propelled in 2020, but we started in later of 2018.
And competition, I think you listed some, but can you talk more to that?
Yeah. So we've actually done self demos of all of them. And we know that in terms of UI and UX, our platform does top, and we offer different types of reporting, custom dashboards, and different features that these two organizations on intern and abroad don't offer. One of the major competition, honestly, is all these folks are doing everything on spreadsheets, and they're spending dozens of hours a week manually inputting the data, manually inputting how their customers are doing, whether they're accepting their offers, who their managers are. That's usually the biggest competitor, and that's the tool that we migrate from when it comes from Excel over to Simba's platform.
So what would be the average sort of revenue per company per year? Say the mid-market company.
For what company?
Yeah,
so we start with $25 per user per month. That is like the lowest tier, but then that price scales as companies hit the 1,000 plus user bracket, the 2,500 plus bracket, 10,000 users. And we charge for the interns, their managers, their mentors, peers, and the administrators who are usually on the HR team managing the program.
Can you talk a little bit about what kind of proprietary technology you have developed? So is it off the shelf?
It's off the shelf, so it's a B2B web-based SaaS application. We license it out to our customers. It's fully white labeled, so they can customize with their logo, with their coloring. There's a lot of other parts of the platform that they can customize too.
Last question. Is there any kind of type of focus on UI type activities and monitoring?
Definitely. Really appreciate you bringing that up. So we do offer, and we are able to track on the platform gender, race, pronouns, and people who utilize that, the users and the admins are able to make a lot of smart decisions. So to track, are my Asian women completing their projects on time? Are they getting the attention that they need from their managers? Are they not accepting the offers? What's happening? And we're using our AI models, we're giving everything proactively. So 2 weeks into the platform, they'll know, okay, something's up with this person. They're at risk. We need to re-engage them to, make them more excited about the platform, so that way they can lead to higher conversion rates. It truly stems from my experience when I was a software engineer at companies like Apple and Bank of America. I didn't see a lot of diversity at all, and never really had role models to look up to at these large companies. So we do take D&I very seriously, and that's kind of the core mission to open up the workforce.
Very good.
retention is a huge issue. So if you could solve that, that's the winner. What about, how long does the program stay on the journey of employees? Talent? Is it end and then it goes to something else or migrating somewhere else?
So because we can bring on the students as soon as they get their offer, so you're in your offer in the fall, you're in college, you can get, entrepreneur students, you've got that offer. So companies are engaging with them up until May, June, keeping them excited, letting them know what to expect. Then obviously all throughout the entire program, and then even as alumni. So when those students get their offers back, they get alumni access on Simba as an alumni user type, so they can pretty much get on the platform year after year. Genentech has users that are going back for masters and PhDs, and they still retain their data, and they know who's coming back after those 3, 5, 6 year programs.
One more question, what are you doing in terms of tracking data and combining data from your various clients?
So we're collecting a lot of information on just how successful these organizations' programs are. It's helping us understand a lot of information about retention rates and what companies are doing. Some of the large companies that are not so sexy, that are not so highly attracting this talent, what kind of initiatives they're putting into place. We build our own reports, we have a bunch of case studies. We work with a lot of research groups and conduct a lot of focus groups and present that on our website. Customers are also asking us how they can feed off one another and understand how we can work together to effectively just keep improving their programs too.
Thank you. So I just will give you a couple of minutes. While we ready for Donna from Simar. Is that how I pronounce Simar? So let's the fire went away. Where's the one? All right. Judges, if you're going to give me a thumbs up. And just a quick reminder of the food. We have, you can pick up food and find your chairs. There are a lot of empty chairs, so please feel free to sit down and watch our show. Nata, you done? Awesome. So we'll go with Donna next with Simon.
I'm Donna Conroy, CEO of Simon Online. Starting in the late 90s and over the course of 6 years, I developed and launched 3 drugs for hepatitis C. I was on a strategic drug development team, and I had a dual role with both commercial and clinical responsibilities. But the entire team of 12 functions, including medical, regulatory, managed care, and others. Our collective goal was to align our drugs with unmet needs of the patients and the market. Our last launch was very successful. We were running $1.2 billion on a $500 million target. And this was a data-driven success. Because while it's quite standard today, it was very novel back then to utilize data for clinical and strategic decisions. But I pushed our team to go out and find those patients with the highest unmet needs. And I'm proud to say that patients that were co-infected with HIV, Black, and Asian were receiving life-changing therapies for their hepatitis. Today, I'm frustrated with that success because it took 6 years to get that drug to those patients. Over the course of those 6 years, 4.2 million patients with hepatitis C related liver cancer died. I can't stop thinking about the impact we would have had we gotten treatment to those patients earlier. And the drug development teams of today share this frustration because they are using the same manual and siloed processes I used back in the 90s. But it's more difficult today. There's over 200 times more data available on a daily basis. Old manual workflows plus data overload create significant inefficiency that slow drug development and cost the top 14 pharma companies $2.8 billion annually. It's been our mission to not only accelerate drugs to market quicker, but also to do it cost effectively. And our products do just that. The DB index is a proprietary formula that identifies inefficiencies within individual drug programs, while the DB platform is a technology that improves them. We do this by combining a drug development roadmap on top of a disease-specific database. The technology utilizes workflow automation tools to speed up development and AI-powered data integration tools to optimize those strategies. The result is accelerating therapies to market while saving those companies $1.9 billion a year. And we're pretty sure about those numbers because right now those drug development teams are spending between $10 and $20 million per year to get those books of work done. We're doing the same work and helping them do the same work for contracts at $2 to $3 million. Our business model starts with a lead generation tool of that DB index, which is a one-time sale. Technology then has a one-time corporate setup fee and then a one-time disease setup fee and follows by a yearly platform. In terms of the market size, we all know that there are a lot of drugs in development. It starts with a $4.8 billion TAM, over 2,400 drugs that are in development. We intend to tap into that sum of $574 million, utilizing our relationship with our co-sell partner, Microsoft, who has partnerships with 36 pharma companies and accessing over 164 drug programs. Now, prior to 2020, we had a siloed data analytics, sold $3 million worth of this tool to some pretty big pharma companies. But we were realizing that there was still an unmet need of those customers to put a more comprehensive solution to help them develop drugs. So we took that data analytics tool, brought it over to a new company, and started adding everyone and everything for drug development into one comprehensive solution. During product development, we used the $475,000 raise from family and friends, Martha Peston and North Pond, to find those technical challenges and solve for them, map out all of those drug development tasks that need to get done, build out our partnerships, and of course, protect our IP. Launched our MVP earlier this year, and with that launch, one of our old users for the siloed solution came and asked if we could bring this solution to his mid-sized pharma company. Over the last few months, we've gotten approval from all of those functions, and just this week, on Monday, we found that approval from the executive. So, with that first customer, we know that we're going to grow with Microsoft, but we're also going to grow because they have collaborations with other pharmaceutical companies. So it'll be an organic growth as we start offering the solution to their partnerships. We intend to be ROI positive by 2025, and at the same time, we will prove our value hypothesis and begin the journey into big pharma companies. Landing in 2028 with an ARR of $114 million. In terms of competition, our status quo, it's our biggest competitor. But as you see on the X and Y axis, we also have these siloed solutions that still exist and are being used in pharmaceuticals today. However, we are the very first comprehensive drug development solution built by pharma for pharma, with a team of pharma descendants to prove it. Dr. Taglietti has developed and launched over 35 drugs into the market and recently retired as the CEO of Nexus Pharma. Joy is a current executive and as a commercial officer, and Kathy has the clinical experience as well. My technical team is led by my co-founder, Mike, and is overseen by his advisor, Dr. Ganesh Mani, who was an ex-president of the TiE Pittsburgh chapter and a current board and charter member. And our operational team is led by both Elliot and Dan, who have over 25 years experience in the industry. This team is dedicated to getting drugs to market and life-changing therapies to market faster. And that's our mission. It's not only our mission, it's likely your mission too. Because I'm sure you know somebody who has a debilitating, painful, or life-changing disease that needs a better therapeutic option. Or maybe you even know somebody who paid the ultimate price, like the 44,000 patients who died this past year of HER2-positive metastatic breast cancer. At the end of the year, the drug Enhertu was found to have a 72% reduction in that death rate. But I guarantee you, that drug development team is proud of what they've done, but they too can't stop thinking about what would have happened if that drug had gotten to market 1 month earlier, or 4 months earlier, or even 6 months earlier. So please join me on this journey to get more life-changing therapies to market faster.
Partnership with Microsoft, how critical is that and how has it been accelerated because of the AI and and all that?
Yeah, so Mike has had early access to ChatGPT. We're starting with the generative AI, so future-wise, it's great, right? We're part of Microsoft for Startups, and we're actually part of the Microsoft Startups Pegasus program. Pegasus program just came out of dark mode, stealth mode. We were the first cohort, but they were looking at smaller companies like ours that needed enterprise level contracts. And they just need a little more hand-holding because we all are smaller to get into those bigger organizations. We've been critical with all of that.
Can you give everyone an example of how you save time and how you're getting the drug faster to market?
Yeah, absolutely. So when you're strategically developing a drug, and when we were going fish into all of that clinical data to understand which patients were going to benefit most from those therapeutics, you know, when I was younger, there were 785 publications in the first 18 months of HIV. In the first 18 months of COVID, doesn't give you how many there were? 160,000. So we're using AI to basically shred that data, apply metadata, and the data goes right to the tasks that the person needs to accomplish autonomously. So they're getting rid of that whole go fish, strategic piece of it because they're just setting the terms once and the data is going to their tasks on a daily basis. So it's helping everybody.
Okay, and then you mentioned status quo with pharmaceuticals.
Yeah.
So how do you overcome that?
So I think it's starting to change. We were part of the Merck Digital Science Studio in this past cohort, and the intention there is let's get innovative, let's start using these technologies. What we've learned and what was said at our graduation this past Monday is we still became a 130-year-old company. So what we've learned is the big pharma companies need more data, they need more proof of value, and they're really willing to do that. So that's why it's going to take us 2 years to get to that ROI. Once we started tapping into, it took me stepping back a little bit and saying, you need to tap into these next guys and take the impact a little bit slower. But once we did that, we found that we moved forward. What I've accomplished in 2 years with Merck, was months in a mid-size.
Some females were not used for data collection until 20 years ago or so. How is this going to help to personalize that for female patients?
So we integrate, as per the pharma company's request, all of their clinical data that they're collecting in their trials. It's aggregated to be utilized at an aggregated level. So we can start seeing those trends. Are you putting enough females on trial? Are you putting enough people of color in your clinical trials? I think a large majority of pharma companies are really realizing that we have. So there are initiatives in most of them to get that done. And now we're actually there. So,
Donna? Great. Lovely. Just like good to go? Thank you. All right, next we have Martin Timmerman with Sunray Scientific. Martin, take it away. Hello, everyone. Good evening. I'm Martin Stemmerman, CEO and co-founder of Sunray Scientific. Sunray is a leading-edge electronic materials company that is reshaping the future of electronics. We're doing that across many industries: healthcare, consumer electronics, automotive, as well as defense. We develop novel conductive materials, simply put, super glue that has electrical performance. A leap technology with projected revenues of over $125 million come 2027. Our novel patented materials enable a variety of things. One, we're getting into health and wellness, which are sensors, they're diagnostic patches for medical devices like continuous glucose monitor devices to improve the quality of life. Secondly, temperature loggers. So you guys know that when produce is being shipped, the temperature has to be tracked. That food, if it's not tracked and it sees high temperatures, is thrown out. So we are actually coming up with temperature loggers that are cost effective, that can be used by Costco and other companies. We also are working with smart labels that can be used to track supply chain. So our technology can be used across so many different industries, so many different applications. As a small company, we do need to focus, and these are the areas that we focus. And while we're doing all of this, we're also creating environmentally friendly materials. Okay, so we spent a lot of time over 40 years to really understand the voice of the customer, what's going on with what we have today. And if you guys know, many of the electronic devices are hard, right? They're rigid. Who wants to wear hard, rigid electronics on your arm or on your body? I'm not going to put my hand up for that. So basically what's happening is that this is all now transitioning to electronics that are more informal, right? Comfortable. And that's what we enable. So this is what we're doing. And we heard Sloan talk actually, I'm beating the top. But basically what we're doing is we are enabling wearables. We're enabling, again, comfortable electronics. And believe it or not, it's one of the materials, one of the bill of materials, which is actually the conductive glue. Conductive glue. We'll use it now. So we're that conductive glue that enables electronics to go to flexible. Now, along with that, which is a really big deal right now, you guys have heard about CHIPS Act. There is a big push, right, to bring electronics back to the U.S. because we don't want to be dependent on China. We've been dependent on China for too long. We all saw what happened during COVID. So that's what we're enabling. We are taking costs out. We're eliminating steps. We're making things simpler, and we're enabling these wearables. Okay, so this is the magic. I'm an engineer by background, and I'd love to tell you all the details, but we'll keep it simple. So basically, our magic is that we come up with a magnetic element that goes into the process. We're using magnetic particles. So that magnetic field is basically taking these randomly dispersed particles, that's enough polymer, and creating wires. And once those wires are created, the material appears, that those columns are now in place, and now that you get an electrical connection. Okay, so basically, I had to pitch myself.
we were attending conferences, and what we heard is this is a trend, right? They are moving to flexible wearables, flexible electronics. And the number one issue, believe it or not, is the electrical connection. So that's when I was like, no way in hell, can't be. It was. So the material that we've come up with is what's been a tremendous amount of pull and enabling products that just could not be developed in the past. All right, so we understand our competition. We've been doing this for the past 6.5 years. There are competitors, but nobody has what we have. As a matter of fact, the TiE has been trying to do what we're doing since the 1960s. And I'm sure some of you have heard people, companies called Namix, our competitors are coming to us. Why? Because they don't have the material like we do that performs as well. So they tested our materials, they come to us and said, we want your material in our portfolio. So they are bringing us customers, whether they're medical device customers like a Dexcom, whether it's GE for diagnostic patches, whether it's Lockheed for aerospace, because they need electronics on their planes, using it. So we're very fortunate. We don't need a big sales organization. We have our competitors bringing customers to us. And this market is huge. We're talking about a $40 billion market come 2026. And this doesn't even include semiconductor packaging. So if you know, and others in the room know that we're going fiercely after CHIPS Act. It's a $52 billion government funding, federally funded program to help companies such as ourselves, again, to bring back electronics into the U.S. We are partnering with a variety of New Jersey-based companies, and those of you that want to come talk to me, please do. Also, universities, so that we can bring that money to New Jersey to fundraise to other companies in New Jersey. Okay, so we, as I mentioned, we've been doing this for 6.5 years. We've been very fortunate. We brought in $10 million of non-dilutive funding through the Department of Defense, the Department of Energy, some funding from NJ Women SIG, about $400,000. And we have used that funding so that we can improve and quickly get through commercialization. We today have 22 paying customers across many different applications in order to qualify our technology. It includes things like flexible LED display, RFID temperature, some of the things that you saw on the initial slide, but we are getting a lot of pull wearables. And our team, well, let me take a step back. We have raised $5 million through investors, Tech Council Ventures, Golden Seeds, Softwood Ventures, and probably any of the angel groups that you know in New Jersey. We have 80 individual investors, but we were actually oversubscribed last year. Very happy. We had 16 months of runway, and we are gearing up for growth. So it is all about tremendous opportunity, and that's what we're doing. So we're bringing in $10 million in a Series A round, and we have a phenomenal seed that just happened. So we all like to win, and I'm going to convert it over to questions at this point.
Excellent presentation, Heather. You were talking about competitors, pending partners, bringing customers. What's your exit strategy?
So we want to be sold. We have a plan. We have a 3 to 5 year plan and sold out evaluation. So number one is to get our valuation up. We want to commercialize. Our exit strategy is that's why we're working with the Henkels and the DuPonts and the world's large global material suppliers that have an interest. And that's the number one question before we invest. Are you guys interested in being acquired? And the answer is yes, for the right number. Thank you.
Thank you, CHIPS Act. What if there was a CHIPS Act, where would you be?
Well, okay, so that's a plan, right? Is that we want to bring in the CHIPS Act funding so that we can grow, we can accelerate our growth. So instead of taking 2 years, right, to getting to the 200 million valuation, we are now taking that big solution that we're going to reduce that by 50%. So today, I didn't mention this, but we are a 15-employee company, started with 2 of us in a garage.
And we now have a launch facility, but TikTok is gonna allow us to triple our location and get to 100 employees within 3 to 5 years.
Great presentation, Andy. Which industry, so you said you picked a few different areas that you're targeting. Which areas are you seeing the most interest and the most growth?
Medical healthcare. And that was, I think, part of really accelerated that because we were able to go to doctors, right? And so think about diagnostic patches and I'm actually quite shocked in how big medical and healthcare is for us. The downside, as many of you know, it takes longer to qualify, which sucks for us because we qualify and commercialize. So we've expanded our portfolio and focus to be on healthcare because honestly, we could grow really well with just healthcare for too long, and we can commercialize.
What applications?
Continuous glucose monitor devices. And just for us, with one company, that's fine, not specific. With one company, we're talking about $20 million of ARR just selling our materials. Sorry.
No, audience question, no. Audience, you need to put it on the app. Yeah, you will. Yeah. I told you it's right.
So we can push. Everyone keep it around. Yeah.
Faces, man. Yeah. Yeah. You want to break? Okay, sure. Yeah. They're so scared of me now. Okay, you have two. Yeah.
All right. We'll take a small break. Let's say we're back at 7:55 to restart the session.
Right now. Yeah. That's part of it. We're not anymore. Okay. If we could have everyone back, please. Right. We have to. So please stay engaged, stay here. There is food, bring food and join us. Jesus, there's no one. I know. Can we have everyone back? Can you see in their post there? We're gonna be here all night pitching. Thank you, Jen. Problem to solve. Maybe that restrooms. All right. We just gonna give a minute for a third judge. But pretty much everyone's out in the lobby and we got area there. Thank you. All right. So our next pitch, we're gonna start. All right, our next pitch is from Kartika, from Michael Start. So we're gonna take it.
Thanks so much, Liz. And thank you, TiE NJ and TiE Women. Hi, everyone. I'm Kritika Parmeshwaran. I'm a Milwaukee alum and the founder and CEO of Vital Health. Everybody wants to hold the baby, but who holds the mom? That's the question we are addressing at Vital. Close to 1 million mothers go through perinatal mood and anxiety disorders each year, with less than half get any treatment at all. I know because I was one of them. And this problem starts even earlier, in preconception. Close to 90% of those going through infertility treatments have reported anxiety and depression. Our platform, Courage, addresses this full-on in two ways. One is a virtual reality library that works on a high-end VR device as well as a mobile VR device. And the other is providing preparatory guidance as well as coping, mindfulness, and relaxation skills. What we also have added is a measurable way to do behavioral health. This is something that does not exist today, and we are bringing an evidence-based care to provide clinically guided and personalized care across preconception, birthing, and postpartum. Here's a quick demo. What you're going to see is a fertility use case. The same works for high-risk pregnancy or just pregnancy really and postpartum morbidity use. Here's a young couple who's beginning their fertility journey. It's fraught with anxiety and very expensive. Fortunately for them, it's a typical video thing, but it will happen very fast. One second. I think it was just working really.
You play it there and you go back. Don't click, Pratika, don't click on the, go back. Sorry.
Here's a young couple beginning their infertility treatment that's fraught with anxiety and very expensive. Fortunately for them, our platform Courage is at that clinic. Our care coordinator will onboard them, match them with a practitioner, along with self-guided care, as well as mental health assessment tools, all which go into the vital sign for well-being profile, a pattern trending analytics engine that helps provide very personalized interventions through a practitioner, from a practitioner to the patient. As you can see, we have psychoeducation and patient education along with mindfulness, which I'll be sharing very soon.
The audio is from.
So folks, this was probably a little bit of an ambitious goal here, but I do want you to know what our platform is about and the unique things that we're bringing to the table here. So here you're going to see a quick relaxation process that the client is taken through, and this can be done by a couple or individually by the client, which is the game-changing nature of our platform.
Unfortunately,
That's fine. Happy to show you a demo of the real platform. Our platform works on-site and off-site for home-based care using equitable mobile VR as well as high-end VR. I'm really excited that we just launched our on-site services very successfully recently in multiple clinics. And what we're bringing to the table is something that has been out there. You know, the American Psychological Association recommends VR for OCD, PTSD, stress, anxiety, depression, all of which are part of perinatal mood and anxiety disorders. We also spoke to the Veterans Administration in Philadelphia, who told us that they see that gain with sleeping in VR in 3 weeks versus 8 to 12 weeks. So what we've done is we finished a focus group, did a IRB-based study at the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. We have a licensing agreement with them. Also done a coaching pilot that showed a reduction in 20% of stress before and after the sessions. We've seen enormous momentum right now, including launching at clinics, interest in a state pilot from a large health system, a national payer who wants to bring this to employees, employee programs and benefits, as well as a fertility farmer who's interested in working on a co-development with us. And what we've been doing is looking at this problem from the commercials in the short term, as well as in the long term, looking at the complete arc of taking the research, compliance, and regulatory aspects to become a medical device. We don't need to do that right now because there are reimbursements for this already, but we want to go down that arc to get even further reimbursements and grow our partnerships. We are part of the Microsoft Stars program. We just graduated. We are in their partner network, in the ISP program, and they want to bring us on every Teams app that is out there. We also have interest from the Veterans Administration and partnerships across the board with other maternity companies. We've done enormously well. We've won numerous awards recently. We've raised the pre-seed over 500,000 in funding, some through grants, some through the Science Center, Drexel, as well as the family. What we're trying to do is really dream big and go after the complete fintech market. 80% of the healthcare decisions are made by women, but 5% of the healthcare spending goes to women. So we want to make a dent in that and go after this $49 billion market, beginning with a beachhead of fertility, high-risk pregnancy, and postpartum. I see us fitting into any of these companies and being that best-in-class virtual reality platform, not only for maternal and femtech, but going beyond that for other acute and chronic conditions. And this is an area of great interest currently. What we're doing is also something really unique. We are bringing the best in the existing approaches, whether it's content-based approaches, AI-based approaches, whether it is care coordination-based approaches, one-stop shop platform across preconception, birthing, and postpartum. With that human in the loop, because this is a vulnerable journey, this is not weight loss, and we feel very strongly you need those human encounters as well. We're bringing that next generation of care because we keep hearing from people, I can't sit still, I can't meditate. As soon as they get into the VR experience, everything changes for them. We keep hearing that again and again. We are adjunct to pharmacotherapy, so with the new drugs and pills coming out, we people to work. And what we're bringing to the table is this patent pending platform in a B2B setting and B2C, B2B2C, which is a triage from the clinics or health systems into a telehealth platform. We provide both of those. We're looking to raise $2.5 million in our seed raise really for further platform development and commercialization, a big way to grow aggressively and get to $31 million by 2026. We have a phenomenal team supporting this and driving this to make our vision a reality. Thank you. Join us.
Well, excellent. The declining birth rates in developed countries, one of the markets would you be able to apply this to, and specifically for some of them on the other side of the spectrum, menopausal women, things like that. I'd love to hear more about that.
What a great question, Lata. Literally, a pharmaceutical company reached out to us and said, drop everything, just do menopause. So I see what you're saying. And my counter argument to that was that women are birthing even later in life. And they're sort of just finishing their birthing and hitting menopause. So definitely, unfortunately, that's the reality, right, these days. So we want to be there throughout the women's journey. That's our goal and our dream. But we're beginning with a very targeted view into fertility and maternity. Then we grow into other areas, including breast cancer. I feel very strongly about that. I have friends going through this.
Great presentation. What was the stats now? What's the business model?
Right. So when we started, Jim, last year, we did B2C. And the customer acquisition cost was like $600, which is way more than what we were charging. So we just paused that completely. And then going B2B, so clinics, providers, payers, partnerships with others, but pretty much providers within the behavioral health space or fertility maternity spaces. And then we triage them into our home-based care platform, which is over telehealth. So we have both the on-site and the telehealth aspect for value-based costing. Yeah, so the fertility clinics, for instance, it's been impressive. It's like 2 weeks since time. That's for us. Because we just take the VR headset, get them into the experience, and they're like, wow, we need this. So it's been that sort of a thing. Now with the OBGYN health in the hospital systems, it's much longer. We're working on the state pilot arrangement with a large healthcare system and provider.
hearing this presentation. So what is adoption of VR like in a clinic or online setting? How likely are people? Is there resistance? Are there any issues with that?
Good question again. I think a few years ago, say before COVID, there was a serious concern whether this would happen. And so we ourselves started with a focus group at CHOP. We showed them YouTube versus VR and asked them, hey, is it even worth doing VR? But VR won hands down because of the neurobiological changes it brings and the visceral nature of VR. And we're seeing now the adoption, there's been no issues at all. We do have some women say, oh, we feel a little nauseous, but we have 2D experiences as well. So on the VR, you see like a kid. As if you're sitting in a theater and seeing it rather than being immersed. So we have both of those. And then a very particular program we've developed called stress inoculation therapy. That is what we give in an intense way. And then we have a self-guided care.
To go, last we have, the good with X and health. I will bring up your. I'm just yeah. In the event. Bottom screen. I know. Just magically. But thank guys for coming through. So we're at the health and we're transforming mechanical ventilation to improve organ donor management.
Ella, one moment. Are they done with the storage? Yes.
You want to restart?
We'll restart.
Is he done? I don't think so. Is this called pin drop silence?
Yeah, go for it. All right. So again, rewind. Yeah, so we're excellent health. We're transforming mechanical ventilation to improve organ donor management. My name is Elizabeth Jaworski, and I'm the co-founder and CEO. I founded this company 2 years ago because the pandemic was raging, and as my previous co-founder was on a ventilator for 3 weeks at the age of 35 and had a horrible experience. I have a PhD in biochemistry. I'm a serial founder. I started 2 companies during my PhD, and I founded this company with Dr. Lance Black, a surgeon from the Air Force, along with Ron Mills, an experienced medical device entrepreneur who's brought award-winning transplant devices to the market. I surround myself with experts, clinicians from the largest medical center, the Texas Medical Center, experts in sales and from Medtronic, as well as experienced researchers from the Mayo Clinic. So we're supporting mechanical ventilation because ventilation is nothing like natural breathing, and it's currently affecting over 13 million people globally every year. During ventilation, this is a form of positive pressure ventilation. And what that means is a fancy fan blowing air into your lungs without the use of your own respiratory muscles, specifically the diaphragm. This is the muscle that sits in your chest and during ventilation is inactive and actually sits up where your lungs should be. The ventilator then has to push an incredible amount of force to get that diaphragm to move out of the way to inflate your lungs every morning. This causes a ton of lung injuries, barotraumas, and ultimately poor oxygenation of the body. So we thought if we can reactivate this muscle to move it out of the way, we can prevent all these injuries. And that's what we're doing with Flex, the diaphragm stimulator. Our device leverages the endotracheal tube and the equipment that's already in place in all these patients, the breathing tube that gets put into your windpipe, to stimulate the phrenic nerve. That's the nerve that's responsible for contracting your diaphragm. And we do this in case with the ventilator to move it out of the way to assist breathing in ventilator patients. We have a functional prototype that we've now tested in 3 animals. So this is proving that the device works and that we can get it to do what we want to, supporting ventilation. Our goal is to become the standard in respiration in all mechanical ventilator patients. And this is about a $1.2 billion market opportunity in the US alone. We're going to do this by targeting the transplant market. Currently, there's 15,000 patients every year that donate, give arguably the greatest gift somebody could ever give, their own organs to a person in need. But unfortunately, a ton of organs are discarded from each patient. Specifically, 80% of lungs are discarded, while there's thousands of patients on the list. And we find that utterly unacceptable. That damage that the ventilator caused is preventing people from getting what they need. So, organ management opportunity has the same unmet need that anybody on the ventilator does. But we've identified that this actually has an attractive regulatory pathway, allowing our product to get to market, get FDA approval on an expedited timeline. Not only that, but this market has shorter timelines to sales cycles. We're not selling to the hospitals. Our customers include organ procurement organizations. So these are the organizations that manage donors during that process. We partnered with one of these OPOs, like specifically, they're an OPO that manages the Houston and South Texas, where we're from. And they're providing about $2 million in services for us to test our product in their patients because they see the incredible value that this product can have. And the reality is they're desperate to find new technologies to support organ donor management. It's challenging to innovate in this space because the market is very low. And so we're providing them an opportunity to improve their utilization rates. So there's currently no products on the market that do what we do. So we have identified a handful of companies that are coming up with ways to support mechanical ventilation. These companies are either technologies that appears that are highly risky or require special planning, or are non-invasive but have off-target effects. And so we're the Goldilocks solution, where we're a minimally invasive device, targets the nerve specifically, and most importantly, fits the critical care work. We've had quite a few success to date. Less than $250,000 in cash. We were founded out of the Texas Medical Center, the first medical centers in the US. We have investment from China, so one of the local companies here, we're located in New York. We've won quite a few grants and past privately to help support us through this, and I've gone through some prestigious accelerators. Most importantly, I've done over 70 clinical and user interviews to validate our product, our need, and make sure that we're developing a technology that fits into our users' hands. So we're working towards organ donor management market. We're about to start a clinical trial with our partners like this within the next 2 months. We'll be engaging with the FDA and then starting our pivotal trial at the end of 2024, which we expect to get FDA approval here from them. We'll start generating revenue in this organ donor market. This is all while we're developing our product for the critical care market to support all ventilated patients. At any point of us getting human data, there's an exit opportunity for it. Exits in the space have ranged anywhere from $130 to $550 million. Most importantly, mechanical ventilator companies are already active in acquiring technologies in the space. Specifically, Draeger, one of the largest mechanical ventilator companies, has acquired one of our competitors, showing that there's activity in this space. Specifically, mechanical ventilator companies are looking to improve their own technologies because they know that ventilators are terrible and they want to improve as well. When I submitted these slides, we were raising a $500,000 seed round, but I'm happy to announce as of this morning we have oversubscribed. So this is a little outdated. But we are using this fund to get us 18 months of runway to complete all of our product testing, get the human data, file additional patents, and engage with the FDA. So thank you, and happy to answer your questions.
Excellent presentation. We really talked about for message. So those companies acquired pre-approval.
Some of them, yes. So it ranges. A lot of the times they has acquired our competitor with 20 human data. Pre-FDA approval, pre-pivotal trial, pre-anything, just on the merits of the technology, has shown a little bit of efficacy in this patient.
Quickly, a little color on the IP that patent pending.
Yeah, so we filed one worldwide patent, and this is on the intertracheal approach to bradycardia stimulation, leveraging that breathing tube that's already in place in these patients. So there's future patents that will be covering the product, the way that it's introduced, the way the user engages, and the stimulation algorithms.
Well, then, like, I saw $5 million want to raise next one. And what would that be used for?
So the 5 million was to get us through that pivotal trial. I honestly think it might be less because as LifeSafe is providing us with 2 million in-kind services, I have just talked to 2 more that are also willing to do clinical trials for free, because they are desperate. And so I think we might actually raise less than 5 million, but it'll be mostly around getting FDA approval in the pivotal trial.
Great.
You mentioned that there are some unwanted effects from some of the competitors that are non-invasive. What kinds of side effects or problems do they come up with?
So one of our competitors is, I call it SCOTV ab simulator. Literally, it's just abdominal patches that go, like a skin patch that goes on the patient's abdomen and contracts their abdominal muscles. So you have to provide a high voltage to actually get the diaphragm to contract. So the patients will be ripped probably, but I mean they're not stimulating the diaphragm directly. Another competitor is like electromagnetic collar that goes around the patient's neck. So you're stimulating a lot of like the neck muscles. These patients are put in very consternation, so it's not as user friendly as our technology.
And you were showing some of the companies that have had exits, competitors. How far along do you need to be, and what is the timeline to be a viable target for an acquisition?
So yeah, as I mentioned, Draeger already acquired one of our competitors at 20 patients. So as soon as we potentially within the next year, we could get acquired for that. Our plan is to start generating revenue in the early donor management market before we actually get acquired, start showing sales. Some of the other companies wait until they get 10,000 patients, a little bit of money. So it really has range depending on the technology and the seed. So,
okay, thank you.
I need pivoting, right? So why don't you just tease that out a little bit for the audience?
Great question. Thanks, Jim. So we originally were going for critical care, starting out in helping the critical care market. The unfortunate reality of developing a medical device is it's very, very expensive, timely, costly. Over a single patient in a clinical trial for us would have cost over $50,000 per patient. And based on the complexity of the critical care patient, we would have had to do a study that included 20 to 200 plus patients. So very expensive. Getting approval in that market would have taken us probably 10 plus years. What we've done is, based on my team's expertise in the transplant market, we thought to ourselves of like, this is the same patient problem. Let's try to help these patients, which is usually not an attractive pathway because of how small the market is. The unfortunate reality of developing a medical device. But we talked to the OPOs, Kevin at LifeSafe specifically, and he was very engaged with us and very excited. And so we decided to really, lean into the transplant market. Originally, it was just as a clinical proving ground to get human data to show that the device worked in the way that we wanted it to, but we're really realizing that the patient population and then springboard into the critical care market. Right. All right, thank you, founders. That was phenomenal. Audience, hope you all enjoyed it. I'm sorry we weren't able to ask questions, but we'll stay here all night tomorrow. You get all your questions. They'll be around, so please feel free to if you're comfortable. Judges, do you have some, any high-level thoughts, remarks before we go on to our deliberation?
Great job.
I'm going to say these are 6 very impressive women with really exciting technologies and companies, and they know their stuff. And I'm so happy that TiE New Jersey put this group together.
I'm on the diligence team for our fund. I've probably heard over 1,000 companies in the last 3 years. And I was really blown away by all 6 of you because of your targeted focus, your brilliant backgrounds, and most importantly, your energy and your passion and your resilience. So good luck to all of you, and look forward to seeing one of you in Singapore. Thank you.
It's huge. Thank you. All right, so we will right now the judges, some of us will go away, and Chandra is going to lead a discussion with Wesley. Ms. Wesley.
Yes.
I'm going to do that right away when they're there. We'll take the pictures right away with the 5 banners and all that right away. Let's finish that off. You wanna take the picture away?
If all the TiE women can come up as well. The TiE women. We can get one with
You want to stop the live stream? You want to stop the live stream? Yeah. You want me to end the call here?
Yeah, you can stay Zoom and